Okay, first job is I'm going to weigh out 420 grams of water and get it down to 40 degrees, ready to proof the yeast. Let's just zero the clock there. I shall add some cold water first. I think that should be enough of that. And top that up with some warm to 420 grams, which will equate to roughly 520 millilitres. Just a little over, but that'll be okay. Next, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sugar. And now I shall dissolve that. Okay, I just want to check the temperature of the water now. And that now, as you can see, is just above 40 degrees. Perfect. So next we're going to add 2 teaspoons of yeast. 1. 2. Just a bit short there to put that bit in. And again, we're going to mix that until it's dissolved. Make sure it's all mixed in there. Try and get it from the sides. And give that a good stir. Okay, I'm going to leave that to stand for 10 minutes. That should be more than ample to see if the yeast is active. I should just set that to one side. Next, I'm going to weigh out our ingredients, which will be the flour, just pop the bowl on there, reset the clock. And we are going to be wanting 600 grams of wholemeal flour. Just a little over there, so I'm going to take some out. Perfect. And to that we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're now going to wait for our yeast to proof before we add that to the mixture. Okay, the yeast has been standing for 10 minutes now, and that's got a nice froth on the head. So that tells us that the yeast is active and all is good. And I'm now going to add that to the flour. before mixing that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon, 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. And now it's time to get the hands messy by mixing that all together. Get it all mixed in. And this doesn't take long, just a few minutes to get all that all mixed together. And as you can see, it's quite messy, sticks to the hands. Make sure we've got it, all the flour from at the bottom there. As I'm moving it around, I can see the flour just at the bottom there that's not mixed in. Give it a turn in the bowl to make sure we're getting all that flour mixed in. Okay, that's everything mixed in. As I say, it's a very messy job. Get as much off my hand before I go and rinse them off. Okay, now I've cleaned my hands. I'm going to let that stand now for 45 minutes to let it proof, and I'm just going to cover it over with a towel. And if we put that in a draft-free area, I tend to put it in the oven and close the door and just leave that now for 45 minutes. Having got the mixture out of the bowl, I'm just going to get it out now, just drop it. It does help to wet the surface a little bit so that it doesn't stick, to keep it moist, and just dropping just to degas it. And then I'm going to pop it into this bowl that I have greased with olive oil, and I'm going to leave that now to rest for another 30 minutes. And while that rests for its 30 minutes, it's now time to try and catch up on my Irish dancing.
20 minutes later.
Second proofing is now complete. We're now going to transfer that to our loaf tin. So first off, we're going to fetch the dough out onto the surface, and then we're just going to add a bit of water because it's starting to stick. That's it. Okay, so we're now going to just push the dough out like that, and then we're going to roll it and fold it and firmly pressing it together where we've got joins. Pull the sides in and we can roll it. Something like this. Then we're going to pinch seal the joins and at the ends too. Like so. And I've got a loaf tin that I've greased with olive oil, and I'm going to put that into the tin with the pinch seals downwards, and then we're going to firmly, just with the back of the hand, push that down into the loaf tin to make sure we got all the dough into the corners. And I'm now going to let that rest for 30 minutes, but we don't want the dough to go past the top of the tin. So we're just going to leave that for 30 minutes now. Right, that's been standing in the oven now for approximately 20 minutes, and as we can see, it's just starting to clear the top of the loaf tin. So now I'm going to preheat our oven to 180 degrees, and I shall just let that warm up now before we pop in today's loaf. I'm now going to pop this loaf now into the oven. Place that in the centre, and we're going to let that bake now for 30 minutes. Okay, we're just coming to now our half-hour bake, and I can fetch that out of the oven now.
Perfect. Well done, Chris.
I'm just going to let that cool for a little bit before we give it the cut test to see what it's like on the inside. And that was the white loaf I made the other day. Okay, now that's cooled down a little, we'll give it the cut test. All right. And that is lovely and soft all the way through. And we'll just try that for taste now. A bit of homemade butter. That's still warm. Yeah, beautiful.